Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sendrina. So good to see you today. How are you doing?
I'm good.
That is good.
You?
I'm good. Good morning to everybody. If you just woke up, if you're going to work, if you're still in bed, if you're eating breakfast, a very good morning to you from Sendrina and I here at Kids for Christ. We are so excited for today's program, and we, every week we're excited. And today it's a bit gloomy, I would say. Like the sun,
weather.
Yeah. It's not like yesterday was really hot. These past couple of days was really hot.
It was really hot. I was sweating.
It was really, really hot. And then I think this weekend is going to be a little bit more
well, we are going to be entering spring, so you'll be seeing a lot of rain.
It's like a lot of up and down weather. Like it's never constant.
Variable, yeah.
Like even yesterday, even though it was so hot during the day, in the night it was chilly as well.
But I think generally our area where we live.
Yeah, that's true. It's
always
there's
no sun entering our homes.
Because we're low. I think if you're living like higher, you'll get more sunlight,
entering. It's warmer.
Because where we live is lower, then I think it's colder.
We're living in the shade.
Nevertheless, we go on the day. We hope you guys are doing well. We hope everyone is safe and everyone is, healthy. Everyone is doing well. But yeah, we are in the month of August. Mid-August. Imagine, like, I literally feel like August just began and we already
mid-August.
What's today? 13th. Mid-August. You could say.
When was like the 1st August? Like 2 weeks ago.
Sendrina just said when was the 1st August, and I'm thinking like, you mean in like the whole of
I mean the 1st of
life, or
the 1st of August, the first
like 2
day
weeks
in
ago.
August. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, with all of this, August, as we all know, even the kids would know, that August resembles the month of females. It's the Women's Month. We obviously Women's Day we passed Women's Day. It's
9th
the
of
month,
August.
The 9th of August. It's the month that, we talk about women empowerment, and we talk about how important women are, and it's not just for this month, obviously, because women are important in general. But I think in this month,
there's something significant that happened during this month in South Africa. So this is not international.
It's just
it's a national Women's Month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit about Women's Day. I think obviously it'll be interesting to learn about that, because a lot of the times we celebrate these public holidays, but we don't even know what it means. We don't know what's the meaning behind it. Why are we celebrating? Why are we off? Why are we not going to school? Why are we not going to work?
Yeah.
So Women's Day marks the anniversary of the Great Women's March in 1956. So in 1956, women marched the Union buildings to protest against the carrying of pass books. So that's basically what happened.
Pass books, like, so
in 1956.
Those pass books enabled them to enter certain restricted areas.
Yeah. So you know how your mom and dad, or you have a birth certificate and your mom and dad would have an ID document or ID card. In the past, they had to carry something called a pass book. And some people say the
I think maybe that's where passport originated. Oh, well, maybe that originates from passport.
Yeah, passbook, yeah.
You may pass.
Because now they just say ID, your identification document. They don't say, Sendrina, where's your passport, I think also that came, like, when you think about passport, you think about, like, restrictions, and not being allowed in certain places. And that's, like, when you think about history and how
things started, yeah.
Exactly. So, basically, what the women decided to do, they said, okay, this is enough.
Because in firstly, they couldn't work.
Yeah, they were restricted to that.
They couldn't enter certain places. Yeah. So
I think they had enough of it. And then in 1956, the women said, we're going to do this for ourselves. We're going to speak up for our rights. We're going to do this march. And on the 9th of August, 1956, about 20,000 women marched the Union buildings in Pretoria to protest against legislation aimed at tightening the apartheid government's control over the movement of black women in urban areas. So that's why today, so many years later, 9th of August is such a symbolic day because we use this day to think about the 20,000 women that, took a stand and they marched.
So that now you and I can enter certain places and
go everywhere and anywhere.
We can work.
Yeah. So thank you to those women. And yeah.
So Women's Day basically gives us the opportunity to pay tribute to all the women who have stood up against an unjust society, paving the way for the freedom of future generations.
Yeah, definitely. So that's amazing to know that, we have this month where we can appreciate women. Yeah. Because, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Women are powerful. Women is the future. Women are amazing. Yeah.
So today we're gonna also be talking about a very special lady in the Bible.
A very special woman. Since we're talking about women, we're talking about ladies, we're talking about girls, all our superhero girls. We're gonna be talking about someone that resembles you. Sen?
Someone in the Bible named Ruth. So we're going to be talking about Ruth and her loyalty. Fair enough, women were resistant in South Africa against the laws. I'm sure they had their reasons, but you'll see in the Bible that Ruth, she was actually the opposite. She was not resistant. She was very loyal. But we're going to be talking about Ruth. We're just going to go into a quick break, and then we will start with our lesson on Ruth, and we're going to be talking about how she was loyal to who she was loyal.
I'm excited to learn about obviously I'm excited to learn about Ruth, but I'm also excited to learn about loyalty and how there's different types of loyalty when we think about loyalty in friendships, loyalty in, family, loyalty with God,
loyalty to your responsibilities.
The things that you have to do. And then see how Ruth was loyal in the Bible and how that worked either for her or against her. So we're excited to learn about that. We're just going to go on a short break and then we'll be back with more. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Take my will, I give my life to you, O Lord, a vessel in your hand. I give my heart for your desires, submitted to your plan, for destiny to be fulfilled, that I be used of you. My will is yours, take me. Take my life and let it be holy unto thee. Take my heart and let it be in perfect submission. Take my will and let it see a life of destiny. Take my life, take my heart, take my will, take my life, take my heart, take my will. Let's It's all yours, God. My life is yours. That means my heart is yours. My will is yours. And this jar of clay is yours. That you will be done. Always. Never mind.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, what happened there?
Welcome back, everybody. We just had a short break there. Sendrina's voice needs a short break there. But yeah, today we're speaking about Ruth, and we're speaking about her loyalty, and that is our topic. Are you okay, Sendrina?
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
good. Okay, good. So, we live in a world that understands the benefits of loyalty, right? For an example, loyalty rewards are a common way to keep us coming back for more, right? Like, for an example, get a free French fries or free shake on your 5th visit. Now, this is something that you would hear maybe from like Steers or, a restaurant that sell burgers and shakes and all of that kind of stuff. You would hear something like, get free French fries or a free shake on your 5th visit, or earn so many points at Starbucks and get a free drink.
Yeah.
See a certain number of movies and earn the chance to watch a free movie.
Oh, that's a common one.
That's a common one. Fill out the survey and receive a free appetizer. Or use a specific method of payment and get points to stay at a hotel or to fly a specific airline, you know?
Yeah, even Capitec has this new thing now. It's called special rewards.
Yeah,
so
I was seeing that.
Whenever you go into your Capitec app and you maybe do a transaction, you get like rewards for that.
Oh,
loyalty
cool.
rewards.
I've been seeing that things, but I haven't really, paid attention. That's cool.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so those are some types of rewards that you get for being a loyal customer to a certain company or business. Okay, so throughout God's words, we see that the importance of loyalty and how loyalty is rewarded in the Bible. For example, military groups are rewarded for loyalty to their people or leader. Families are rewarded for their loyalty to one another. Friends are rewarded for their loyalty to one another. God's people are rewarded. Why am I struggling with rewarded? God's people are rewarded for their loyalty. To Him, and God is loyal to His people and receives glory, honor, and praise. Okay, so basically everything has a reward. Whether you're loyal to your friends, loyal to your family, there's reward. Even if when there's a job, you're loyal to your job, I think you get promoted, you get a high position. So it's the same with God, basically. And you see that throughout the Bible, when the characters were loyal to Him and followed His orders, there was a reward in the end. And I'm sure we spoke about many Bible characters. Noah, we spoke about Esther. You see the rewards that God gives to them in the end for their loyalty.
True. So guys, a quick question. Has any one of you guys, or have any of you traveled to a foreign country? If you have, please send us a message on our WhatsApp studio number, which is 063-399-6904. If you're watching on our Facebook Live, please send a message on the live, comment if you visited a foreign country and what was the name of that country, or what is the name of that country. Sendrina, have you visited any foreign countries as yet?
No, Trinal, I have
as yet.
Not. Have you visited any foreign countries as yet?
If not in my dreams, then no. No, I haven't as yet. I haven't.
I wonder what it'd feel like to be in a foreign country. You'd probably be scared.
Yeah, definitely. I think you'd be scared. I think nervousness, you'd be anxiety. I would, my hands would sweat even more than usual.
Because as kids, you don't have your parents around, no mom and dad. You don't know. You're not familiar with the environment.
Yeah, especially if you're going to a place where you don't look like everyone. So you might feel, there's a word, Sendrina, that I'm looking for. You might feel
different.
You might feel different. You might feel sort of like an alien.
Out of place, like an alien.
You would feel like an alien because you are going to somewhere like where everybody looks the same, or everyone looks similar, everyone is like light skin, or everyone's like mostly dark skin. And then when you go there, you might feel different. You might look different. So you feel nervous, you feel scared. Those are some of the things that could happen when you go to a foreign country. And today we're going to be learning about a woman that left her own country and traveled to a land that was very, very different. All due to her being a loyal woman. And that's Ruth.
So a short introduction on Ruth. So God had a special plan for Ruth.
Yeah.
So in the first chapter of Ruth, she had to make a difficult choice. Should she stay in her homeland of Moab, like Orpah, or travel with her mother-in-law? Do you say Naomi or Naomi? Trinal? Naomi.
Yeah.
Mother-in-law.
I used to say Naomi, but then
I mean, there's two ways to say it. So she had to choose between staying at Moab, or she could travel with her mother-in-law to the far-off land of Israel. So Naomi knew the journey would be hard and long. She did not expect her daughter-in-law to come with her, but Ruth simply could not let Naomi go alone. She told Naomi, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." So,
Ruth chose to stay with Naomi and stay with God. Through Ruth's service and words, she showed Naomi that God still loved her. The rest of the book of Ruth tells us of how God used Ruth's obedience to provide for her and Naomi. Ruth meets a godly man named Boaz who lets her gather more than enough grain to survive. Eventually, they marry and they have a baby named Obed. Is that how you say it? Obed. This baby is a blessing for Ruth and Boaz, but also a joy for Naomi. In the Bible, there are only two books named after women. That's something interesting. Can anyone name those two books? Take a look at your book. Take a look at the Bible, the table of contents if you can't remember. Those two books are called Ruth and Esther. And we spoke about Esther previously. And today we're going to be talking about the Bible character Ruth.
We have a short story for Ruth. But before we go into that, we're going to go into a short break.
Okay.
And so we're going to wait for the kids to give us an answer if they've ever been to a foreign country. I'm interested in that. And what the possible experience would be if they had to go for their first time.
And if you did not visit a foreign country like Sen and I, tell us a foreign country that you would like to visit. A place that you would love to go if you had the opportunity to go.
just gone through the motions. I'm sorry. When I sang another song, take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing else. I just want you. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Oh.
And we're back. You're listening to Kids of Christ on Radio Hallelujah. It is currently 26 minutes past 9, and we are talking about Ruth and her loyalty.
Mm-hmm. So we're just gonna tell you a little story about Ruth, a little bit about her life and how she portrayed loyalty in her life. So then you're just gonna start with that, and then we're gonna continue with Ruth and Naomi.
Okay, so in a place called Moab, there lived a nice family.
Don't rush.
It was Elimelech, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
Okay.
His wife Naomi and their 2 sons moved there because there was more food there than where they used to live.
Okay.
After a while, Naomi's husband died,
Mm-hmm.
but Naomi wasn't alone because she still had her 2 sons. Her 2 sons got married, but after about 10 years, they died too. At least Naomi still had her 2 sons' wives to keep her company. Their names was Orpah and Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi called her sons' wives and told them, I am going to go back to where I used to live, and I would like you also to go back to your family where you used to live. May God show you kindness as you have showed me. All the women cried and hugged each other because they were such good friends. Orpah didn't want to leave Naomi, but Naomi told her not to worry, she'd be fine. So Orpah left to go back to her family, but no matter what Naomi said to Ruth, Ruth would not leave. Don't ask me to leave. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your friends will be my friends, and your God will be my God, said Ruth. So Ruth and Naomi returned to Bethlehem together. It was a good thing Ruth went with Naomi because Bethlehem was very far away, and Naomi couldn't have traveled all that way by herself. Notice that Ruth never complains, but is a good friend to Naomi. She wasn't expecting anything in return. She just wanted to help.
When they got there, Ruth decided that she should do some work. It was great harvest time, so she worked in the fields following behind the harvesters and picked up any barley that they dropped. The owner of the field came by to greet the harvesters and noticed Ruth in the field, and he asked one of the harvesters who she was. She came back from Moab with Naomi, that's all I know. Lucky for Ruth, the owner of the field was Boaz. He was a kind man who believed in God, and he had also been related to Naomi's husband that died. Boaz went to go and talk to Ruth, and he said to her, "Don't go work in any other field, but stay here with the other servant girls. I will make sure you are safe, and whenever you are thirsty, go and get drink from the water jars. When Ruth heard this, she bowed down to Boaz and asked, why are you being so nice to me? I'm not even from here. And Boaz replied, I know what you have done for Naomi. You left your family and you moved to a place that you've never been before. May the Lord reward you for your kindness. Ruth thanked Boaz and continued with her work in the hot sun. Boaz even ordered his workers to drop extra barley so Ruth could have more for herself. Ruth took all the I think it's barley, took all the barley home and shared what she had with Naomi. And eventually, Ruth and Boaz and everyone, Ruth married Boaz and everyone was happy. Now, let's just think about the story a little bit, Sen. Just imagine, in this generation, you get married to someone and then they pass away, and the mother of that person. Oh, let's think of it as you are with your best friend and you're close with your best friend. You guys are like inseparable. You're like close. You always with his mom, or you always at their house all the time. And your best friend passes away, and you are always with that family, and then you never with your family, whatever, if that makes sense. And your best friend's mom says, okay, you can go back now to your family because there's no reason for you being here.
Your friend is not there anymore.
Your friend is. Naomi told Ruth, go back to your family. And I'm sure she wasn't going to be like, don't get married again, don't do this. She allowed her, she gave her permission to leave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in this day and age, we would be like, yeah, sure, let's go back to our family. We can, live with your family and whatever. But Ruth was so loyal to Naomi and to the relationship,
to her husband as well,
and to her husband that passed away.
Yeah,
and that family, the whole bond.
Yeah.
She was so loyal that she said, "Wherever you go, I'll go." Your
she even said Naomi that her God will also be.
Yeah, so she was prepared to give. She did give up everything to follow Naomi, and you see, because of her loyalty. When she went to Bethlehem, she didn't just work and suffer and live a hard life and didn't meet someone and she was sad and alone. No, God blessed her. Boaz came into her life, and Boaz even told her, for the things that you did and the loyalty that you had, may God always keep you happy.
And I'm sure it must have been difficult for them in the beginning because they were two women alone, and then God sent someone to take care. So
Sen, being a good friend takes a long time to learn. It's not easy to be a good friend. Like it's I always think to myself, like my mom always used to tell me as well, it's so easy to mess up a good friendship, but it's hard to be a good friend, and now it's so hard to find, that's why we always speak about at Kids for Christ that it's important, if you have a good friend, to keep that good friend, because being a good friend takes a long time to learn, because a good friend is loyal, which means that you keep your promises, and sometimes when you don't feel like being a friend, you continue to be a friend anyway. Sometimes our friends aren't perfect and they make mistakes, but we make mistakes too, and we don't want our friends to leave us when that happens. You see, God gives us friends when we need them, and we should treat them like a gift from God. Just like in the story, Naomi could have insisted the woman to come with her, but she was unselfish and she wanted them to be free and go back to their families. And Ruth had a good attitude and wanted to help. She moved away from everyone she knew and she went to work to help Naomi. She didn't tell everyone what a good friend she was. She knew that she should be a friend like what God wanted her to be.
Ruth probably felt very weird and different when they went back to Bethlehem. She probably felt like she's stuck out and everyone was like looking at her and thinking she's odd. And sometimes we feel that way too. She most likely felt very alone too. Even though she had come back with Naomi, Naomi knew people and was more like them than Ruth. Despite all of these feelings and thoughts that Ruth probably had going on in her mind, Ruth still remained loyal to her mother-in-law. And, they were alone with no protector, but they were the dynamic duo. They are known as the dynamic duo. Traveling distances alone, to return to Bethlehem, which is about 50 miles. But even though they made it to Bethlehem, in that time and during that time, it was hard for women to survive alone. They needed a family man that would protect them. And that's how she met Boaz. Naomi told her Boaz was a relative and sent her to be his servant so that he would fulfill his place as a family redeemer. And, Ruth was loyal. She listened. And Boaz paid the price for Naomi's land and for Ruth to be his wife. Ruth didn't work or try to pay it. All Ruth had to do was be a servant and accepting him as a redeemer. She took the place of a servant, humbling herself to him. Just like that, we look at ourselves, Jesus paid the price to redeem us.
Yeah.
And redeem us means to pay a price, to pay something. And he did that because we once belonged to him and then we stepped away from him. So he had to do something to bring us back to him. God created us. He created me and you and everything else in this world. We were created to be his. But when Adam and Eve sinned, they lost ownership of that. And Jesus came back and paid the price with his life on the cross to redeem us, to buy us back, so that we may have life with him again. And, in the end, Boaz took Ruth home to be his wife. She would not be alone and on her own. And that's because Boaz was there to take care of her.
So what can we learn from Ruth in the Bible? The first thing that we can learn from Ruth, this, woman of power in the Bible, is that the power of faith. You see, Ruth showed remarkable faith for such a young believer. Faith that was still and faith that was strong. You see, faith to believe that God was who he said he was, and faith to believe that God would provide for her and Naomi. If you're a young woman and, this old lady is telling you to go all the way far away from where she is comfortable with being, and she's going to go to a whole new place where you're going to be an alien, basically. It takes a lot of faith to believe that God is going to provide. But Ruth was faithful, and that's what we can learn from her, to be faithful and to trust and to believe in God. If you are unsure, if you are in an unsure place, you should start with faith. I think that's something important to remember. And we look in the Bible, Hebrews 11 verses 1 defines faith as the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. You might not be able to see what God is doing, but you can trust that he is moving. And another thing that we can learn from Ruth is to trust in redemption. You see, against all odds, redemption is always possible. Ruth had no reason to believe that she had earned anything, but believed God was everything she needed. Ruth believed that God would provide, and in the place of faith, God did a miraculous work to redeem Ruth. He took a poor, hurting outcast and healed her, and he provided for her, and he brought her a great love with Boaz. Redemption is possible in your life. I think that's something we would like to teach you guys. No matter where you come from or what you've been through, God has a plan for you, and you can surpass everything that you are going through right now. Your circumstance and your situation doesn't determine who you are. What matters is how your faith amongst that circumstance, your faith amongst your bullies at school, or issues that your parents might be having, or circumstance like financial circumstances. Maybe you don't have a certain kind of maybe something like this can be as simple as going to school and seeing somebody else's lunchbox and seeing what they have for lunch. Then when you look at your lunchbox, it's very different. And that's where we need to believe that, at number one, you need to be appreciative of even having the little that you have. I think that's very important. Sometimes as kids, then we tend to always say, I want more, I wish I was like this, I wish I was like that. Sometimes we just have to be grateful for what we have. You know, one of our leaders told us that when you are grateful for the little that you have, then God will give you plenty. You know, if you can take care of the little that you have, then, you know, you show God that you can be appreciative and you can appreciate the little that you have. So that's when he starts to overflow you and he starts to, you know, give you more. And I think that's something to remember.
Thank you, Trinal. Aside from like faith, you know, Ruth showed respect and honor to her mother-in-law and God. She worked hard in the field to provide for them. Ruth proved to be a woman of integrity with Boaz. Everything she did represented a woman of great character, and God honored her for that. Her bravery, her faith, as you mentioned, her obedience have encouraged many to be better followers of Christ. Apart from this, there was Ruth's loyalty. She chose to leave everything she had to not only follow Naomi, but to follow Naomi's God. And just like that, when we trust Jesus, we are saying we will follow him no matter what. No matter where he leads us, we will trust him. That's where faith also comes in, Trinal. And, you know, it means we choose him over everything else in our life. We as children of God have to be loyal, even when it comes to things like friends, promises, and beliefs. Do not say things that you know you cannot or will not be able to do. Be loyal to your friends in terms of correction. You know, sometimes we think loyalty is always about, you know, staying by your friends, sticking by your friends no matter what. But loyalty is also when you see your friend doing something wrong, you as a friend needs to correct them. And as a friend, you also need to receive correction from your friends. That's also where loyalty comes in. Yeah. It also means do not compromise your beliefs or God's words to the things of this world. Be a loyal servant. God wants us to be loyal and faithful to our friends and family. Even when things seem challenging, he will work things out for the good.
Yeah. And, you know, why should we be loyal? Because Sendrina and I are talking about loyalty, and we're talking about how Ruth was a loyal woman and how it's important to be loyal. I say royal. You see, the greatest example of loyalty is God. Because God was faithful to his creation. You see, God's word says that he will never leave us, nor will he forsake us. Because we have experienced God's faithfulness in our lives, we should in turn be loyal to him, as said, our family, our friends, pastors, leaders, and all those around us. We can also learn something from Naomi's faith. Not only did Naomi have faith and return to her homeland and her God, but her life must have shown her faith for Ruth to want to follow to an unknown place and Naomi's God to become her God. Even when times get hard, we need to know that God is with us and that he is working through us and he's working with us. You know, something important to remember with closing is that God is faithful to those who are loyal to his kingdom, and God rewards loyalty. You know, I'm going to say that again. God is faithful to those who are loyal to his kingdom, and God rewards loyalty.
Yeah. So kids, be faithful, you know, and be loyal to God. Don't waver. Don't be flimsy. Don't let anything distract you from doing what God wants you to do. Don't be loyal and say, okay, today I'm going to do God's work, and then tomorrow, because your friends are going somewhere or doing something, then, you know, throw God away. You have to be loyal. It's a everyday process. It's a every minute, every breath you take, you have to be loyal to God. There's no such thing as I'm loyal today and then tomorrow God is not in the picture. So kids, be loyal, because you see in every character that we're doing, even though these characters make mistakes, but in the end they listen to God, they obey his commands, and they are rewarded in the end. There's no such thing as bad in every you know, God always rewards in the end. In the end of every scripture, there's always good. In the end of every story, you see that God rewards loyalty, rewards faithfulness. So if you can't take anything else home, take this, God rewards their loyalty. So be loyal to him, not only because of the reward, but because, you've learned about everything. And because you owe it to God. Yeah, you've learned about so much of things that God has done in our lives. So we owe it to God. And so kids.
With that, we would like to say we hope you guys enjoyed today's program. We definitely enjoyed it and we did learn a lot. We will be here next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow our social medias, which is Kids for Christ on Facebook. Our WhatsApp studio number is 0633996904. We have the Youth Unfiltered show that airs on Fridays. And the other show on Wednesdays, and we just appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please, if you guys can, please tell somebody about Kids for Christ. Tell someone about Radio Hallelujah. It's not only when we are airing shows that you guys can listen. The platform is always playing music, and it's always good music. So maybe when you're doing your chores, or maybe you're doing washing the dishes, or just put it on your phone and just enjoy that. But thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Remember to be a loyal servant.
Bye.
Bye.